Welcome back to Living Without an Expiration Date. This is a bonus episode. And today's episode is for professionals who feel stuck in the middle. You're not in crisis, you're not on fire, you're not being pushed out the door, but you're not energized either. You wake up with a quiet dissatisfaction. You go through the motions, you perform well enough, you collect the paycheck. And somewhere beneath competence is a question. Do I hold on to what I built? Do I quietly put myself on the market? Or do I pivot entirely? This is one of those one of the most emotionally complex decisions in a professional life. Why? Because it's not just about income. It's about identity, security, ego, fear, timing, family, reputation, energy, and the story you tell yourself about who you are becoming. Today, we're going to slow this down. Not hype, no impulsive advice, no burning the boat theatrics, just clarity. At any career crossroads, there are typically three paths. One, stay and recommit. Two, put yourself on the market. Three, pivot internally or externally. Let's define them honestly. One, staying. Staying is not passive. Staying is an active choice to deepen, renegotiate, or redesign your current role. Two, putting yourself on the market. This is exploration. It's testing value, seeing what's out there without necessarily burning bridges. And three is pivoting. Pivoting is it's transformation. It may involve industry change, role shift, entrepreneurship, or something entirely new. Each path carries risk. Each path, let's be honest, carries regret. The mistake is believing one path is safe. There is no safe path. There is only aligned or misaligned. Let's talk about staying. Dissatisfaction does not automatically mean departure. Ask yourself, is this dissatisfaction circumstantial or structural? Let's define those. Structural or circumstantial dissatisfaction sounds like this. I'm tired. This quarter was brutal. We're understaffed. My boss is going through something. Structural dissatisfaction sounds different. I don't believe in the direction we're going anymore. I'm shrinking to survive here. I feel less of myself. This role doesn't use who I've become. I feel invisible. I feel misaligned at my core. It is the issue. If the issue is circumstantial, leaving may simply relocate your exhaustion. But if it's structural, staying may slowly erode your identity. Here's another question. Have you had the courageous conversation? Have you expressed what you need? Have you asked for expanded scope? Have you requested different challenges? Sometimes we fantasize about leaving when what we really need is negotiation. Staying can be powerful when there is trust, there is room for growth, there is shared purpose, and there is dignity. But staying becomes costly when you are continually censoring yourself. You feel morally misaligned. You dread not the workload, but the culture. You are staying primarily out of fear. Staying should feel chosen, not endured. Let's talk about putting yourself on the market. There is no wisdom in exploration. We're not talking about impulsively quitting, not announcing dissatisfaction, but quietly updating LinkedIn, calling trusted contacts, testing conversations. Why? Because clarity often comes through comparison. You don't know how misaligned you are until you sit in a conversation that feels aligned. Putting yourself on the market does three things. One, it gives you data. Two, it restores agency. But before we go to number three, let's dig into agency for a minute. Agency is a feeling that you have choice, that you are not trapped, that you are an active participant in your life rather than a passive recipient of circumstances. When you feel dissatisfied in a role and do nothing, your internal narrative can quietly shift to, I'm stuck. I don't have options. This is just how it is. I have to tolerate this. That mindset erodes confidence because it positions you as powerless. But the moment you update your resume, the moment you reach out to a trusted contact, the moment you take a call to explore an opportunity, something shifts internally. You move from I'm trapped to I'm choosing for now. Even if you don't leave, exploring the market reminds you you still have skills, people still respond, you still create value, and there are other rooms. Agency isn't about quitting. Agency is about remembering you have options. And psychologically, that matters. When you know you could leave, but are choosing to stay, that feels completely different from believing you can't leave. One posture is empowerment, the other is resignation. And the third one, so we had three. One, it gives you data, it restores agency. And the third is it recalibrates your confidence. Be careful. If you put yourself on the market from a place of desperation, you will accept from scarcity. If you explore from curiosity, you choose from strength. Ask, am I seeking escape or alignment? There is a difference. Escape runs from discomfort. Alignment moves toward purpose. And sometimes, after exploring, you realize my current role isn't perfect, but it's better than I thought. Other times, you realize I have outgrown this container. Both are valuable discoveries. But let's talk about the scariest option, the pivot. The pivot threatens identity because pivots often involve beginner energy. The high performers are allergic to being beginners. A pivot may mean lower compensation initially, new networks, new skills, explaining yourself repeatedly. But sometimes a pivot is not regression, it is evolution. The question becomes, are you running from something or running toward something? If you can articulate what you're running toward, impact, autonomy, creativity, flexibility, that's powerful. If you can only articulate what you're running from, pause. Pivots require a financial runway, emotional stamina. You better have family alignment and clarity of why. Not perfection, but preparedness. And here's a hard truth. If you do not pivot when your identity is clearly calling you forward, you may slowly disengage where you are. The emotional cost of staying too long can exceed the financial cost of pivoting. Let's name what's really operating underneath all of this. Fear. A fear of loss of status, maybe, a loss of reduced income, fear of embarrassment, a fear of starting over, a fear of making the wrong move. So here's an exercise. Ask yourself, if I stay, what am I afraid of? If I leave, what am I afraid of? If I pivot, what am I afraid of? Write them down. Then ask, which fear is about ego and which fear is about values? Ego fears image loss. Value fears integrity loss. One you can survive, the other erodes you. Zoom out. Zoom out a minute. Project yourself 5 years forward. If nothing changes, how do you feel? Do you feel relieved? Do you feel resentful? Do you feel rested? Do you feel stagnant? Do you feel secure? Do you feel small? Now imagine you pivoted. Same 5 years. How do you feel? Regretful? Expanded? Financially strained but alive? Proud you tried? Time clarifies courage. Short-term discomfort is loud. Long-term regret is quiet but heavier. Here's a simple framework. 1, assess alignment. Are you aligned in your current role with your values? 2, have the hard conversation. Don't be afraid to negotiate your current role. 3, explore quietly. Don't burn any bridges. We don't need to do that. 4, build a runway. Because if you decide to pivot, you're going to need a runway. And 5, decide deliberately. Do not decide from burnout. Do not decide from ego bruising. Do not decide because someone else is moving. Decide because your internal compass has become clear. Here's a question I'll leave you with. Are you holding on because it's right or because it's familiar? There is dignity in staying, there is wisdom in exploring, and there is courage in pivoting. But there is a cost in ignoring yourself. You're not late. You are not behind. You are not irrational from questioning. You are evolving. And evolution requires a decision. Thank you for spending this time with me on living without an expiration date. Next time, choose deliberately and share this broadly with anybody you know that might need this information. Thank you.